Hey, what's up everybody? It's your boy Jason coming at you one more again. Coming with you with an update. This is part one of my update and try to keep doing this. Just testing update vids. This one here is my Yokomo YZ-2T truck. And just give y'all an update of how it's going so far. You know, where I'm at now. Alright, now when I initially drove this truck, it was at the 2018 Masters of Dirt. Ordered this truck from Beach Hobbies. Shout out to Beach Hobbies, Brent and his staff and the crew down there. Especially the guy that works the counter there, he's always there. Shout out to him. I forgot his name though, but anyway. Driver's kit, like once I said, I built it, stock the initial driver's kit when I took it down with, like I said, the tires that, you know, they had on the box and everything. I built it to T. Put it out on the track. The truck was like it was on ice. Like, as soon as I give it throttle, it was just like zzz. And I was like, uh-oh, what is going on? I couldn't do 2 to 3 corners without it just doing a 180 or just 360. Like, was kind of embarrassed to put it out there like that, you know. I came back home and got in the lab here, my little lab, my he shed, and you know, just going by. I think I drove the truck maybe 5 laps, and I was like, all right, I gotta do some serious changes on this. So I brought it back, and let me show y'all what my setup sheet notes, whatever, look like, and I'll give you the outcome of my setup that I went with. Alright guys, here's my setup sheet. Okay, I kept the ball stud spacing the same. I tried the wide front ball stud mount. I tried that one. That's what I had on my setup. My changes that I thought that would be great. I went with 1mm on the steering rack, 1mm spacer on the steering rack, which the kit called for 2. Let's see, maybe well, yeah, we'll do it like this. Here's the kit setup. Like I said, I went from 2 down to 1. Same steering rack. My ride height change. Up front, my ride height, I went to a 27mm ride height, and the kit calls for a 22. Springs. I went for associated truck springs. You know, when you look at these springs, you can't put buggy springs on the truck, so I went with associated springs, and I always run associated oils. I always try to run associated shock oils, associated diff grease, and all my stuff. But I went with 37.5 oil. I went with a gray associated spring on front with a spring rate of 4.45. 2mm on the inside of the shock. Limiter, my stroke, I went with 28mm on my front stroke. And I kept the plastic bulkhead on the bottom here. I kept the plastic. Also on my truck, I put a sway bar up front. I went with the Yokomo 1.2 sway bar up front. I moved my initial testing. I moved the front axles and everything back. Spindles, I moved them back. They were calling for them to be forward. I moved them back. So I went out and tested, and that didn't feel good, so I put them back to kit. Another thing I did on the kit is the shock eyelet. I went to the extra long up front shock eyelet with that stroke. Camber, -1. That's standard. Okay, rear of the truck. I kept it 3mm out here on the hub with the ball stud spacers. Here I kept going back between like a 4 with extra long ball stud. Kept going back between a 3 and a 4. Camber still -1. My hub, that was one thing I was testing. I didn't know. I put a question mark there. I didn't know to whether to go back, forward, or middle. So I just kept playing with that. Standard shock mounting at the bottom and the arms and the top. Oh, and another thing, the tests, when I was testing, I went with the bottom of the shock all the way out on the front arm. Just testing, just trying to see what's what. I didn't use any sway bars on the back. Springs, I went with AE or Team Associated white truck springs with a rating of 2.40, and I went with 30 weight shock oil inside, 35 stroke length, 1mm spacer inside the shock, and I went with the 1 dot shock eyelet. I put that on the back. Here's the kit and kit setup of me. Said they had 3. I really didn't change nothing here. The stroke I kept at 35. Same pistons. The pistons that they supplied in the truck is plenty for just about all the conditions. If you race clay, I haven't had any experience with carpet myself personally. Max will be the one to in this area, or just the one to ask period with the Yokomo truck on carpet, as he did the IOCC race out in Las Vegas. Same shock oils that I showed you earlier. This is what I went with. Okay, another thing I did was I went center. I went on my hinge pins on the pills. I kept the hinge pin center on the back and center on the front. I didn't get the chance to test this. This is what I'll be working with next time is peels. I should have on the front moved it up 1. Moved it up. We just went straight up on the front peel, the anti-squat and stuff like that to play with that stuff. See how it feels. Another thing I did back in the back is I lowered my transmission down to 0. And that's another thing I play with, 0 and 1. I'm very new to the diff height or outdrive height. I'm very new to that. From understanding, like if on carpet or whatever, you're running on like 1 or 2, just kind of make the back end pivot more, like just make it rotate more. And that's what I was trying not to do. Like I said, my truck felt like it was on ice on initial drive, so I dropped my diff down to 0. Same battery placing. When I was testing it out there at Beach Hobbies, I was moving my battery forward and back, and I think I got it in the middle right now. AE wheels, associated wheels. I went with positron, electrons on the front and positron on the back, clay compound. And let's go in and talk about this setup, my setup change here. Alright, this setup here that I just showed y'all was a setup that I came up in my he shed for the truck. When I first dropped it on the track, the setup that I did was the exact opposite of the kit setup. The feeling when the track was wet, the truck did alright. It pushed, but the track was wet, so it was not there yet. And I ran positrons and electrons. Truck was totally different than kit setup. The tires that the kit had on the box, totally different feel. So out there running and still tweaking and everything to make a shortcut in the story, I was slowly turning the setup that I just came up with. I was slowly turning that setup back to kit. Like I took the wide ball stud mount off and put the narrow ball stud back on. Up on the steering rack, I moved that back 2 millimeters. It got to a point that I even put the kit springs, the Yokomo kit springs that come with the truck, I put them back on the truck, and the truck was slowly coming around, and I'm like, wow, here it is. I done spent money on a front sway bar. I bought these associated springs, and here's I'm putting the truck back to kit setup. Okay. I ran out of time. They closed early at Beach RC. I think they closed at 5 that Sunday. I ran out of time. The front shock oil, instead of 37, I'm going to bring that back down to 35 weight. The rear shock oil, I'm going to keep that at 30. Like I said, same pistons as what the kit recommends. As you saw my setup, I'm not going to change my shock eyelets. I'm not going to change my rod height. On the back rod height, I'm running 26 millimeter rod height on the back and 27 up front. The kit I think called for 22 and 21. I'm not gonna change my rod height. I took the front sway bar off. Like I said, I think I mentioned earlier, I took the front sway bar off. It was really pushing like complete opposite of the kit setup. I moved my battery all the way forward. I even took the LiPo weight that I had under my battery, I took that out, and the truck got better and better. I was for sure I got myself in a knot, and I really didn't know which way to go to get out of that knot, but as more I ran and the more I started taking off and everything, and I was, like I said, I was going back to pretty much kit setup. And the only thing I can really think to make that huge of a deal, this truck turn around like that, is the tires. There's a tire war going on clay. You know, I'm not sponsored. Hashtag unsponsored. Hashtag independent privateer. However y'all want to say it. I'm going up to the counter and buying my stuff just like everybody else. But I put my money on these tires here, and the back end with positrons is hooked. I'm thinking about going positron on the front. If I'm gonna do these changes that I was talking about, like raising my diff height up to back to 1, because the kit called for it. I dropped it down to 0, but raise it back up to 1, and peel change. But if the truck still has like a push, I'm gonna go positrons on the front and posi on the back. It's something about that positron on the back that is in truck. Well, I mean, it's anything. I wish J Concept would hurry up and come out with some ellipses for the truck, you know. There's something about that tire on the back that is just, I'll go out to say, and go out here and say, this pattern, clay compound, whatever rubber that they use, that is on clay, that is the best, in my opinion. Positrons on the rear of any vehicle. Well, now J Concept has got ellipses on the back, and I'm actually hearing through some guys, you know, that I usually race with, all of us is unsponsored, that they like, on the Tula, they like ellipses better than Proline positrons. But as I said before, there's a tire war going on. Tires that made that much difference. So if I would have went with positrons on the back and electrons on the front, I would have raced this truck Masters of Dirt. I would not even thought like I really thought when I first built this truck to kit standard everything, I really thought they gave me a corporate setup for the off-road truck. I was just like, man. And it wasn't just me. I have another buddy that Brian Robinson out there that he had the same, he built his the same way to the T, and he had the same problem. So, and he went with this tire combo here. But if you get this truck and you're racing clay, kind of like a grippy clay, go with you know, that positron tire and electron on the back. Go with that kind of combo. But yeah, this is just my part 1 update. I'll make some more changes, but the truck is good, y'all. It is real good. And it was fun to drive. I haven't driven truck. It's been probably since 96, 97, maybe 98. And this is my first truck build, but I was just out there, you know, driving it, and it was fun. Like, it's a fun class. And so y'all guys stay tuned. I'll update y'all when I'm headed back down to BHRC. Maybe we could meet up for practice or a Wednesday night race. But anyway, guys, like and subscribe, and I'll see y'all at the track.